Good morning, everybody. MG here. MGCovers bringing you a brand new sports handicapping video. Title of this video, Don't Get Burned by NFL Line Movement. Avoid this common mistake. Super excited to bring in this video. I see a lot of people make this mistake during football season. We'll dive into that. Greatly appreciate those of you that have watched that last video. That was ranked #1 video in the span that it was launched via YouTube. So a big shout out to you guys for watching that. If you are watching this video or have regularly watched videos on my channel and have yet to subscribe, greatly appreciate you doing that. Subscribing to the channel might seem insignificant to you, but it helps me tremendously and grow. So it's a very small thing on your part, but the impact on me is huge, and I'll continue to pump out good content. Today is Free Fridays. If you follow me on Instagram, you will get all my plays for Major League Baseball. Model has done extremely well. We'll talk about that later. So if you go over to my Instagram, which is MGCovers, cover spelled with the Z, there's a link in the description of this video. So if you scroll down, you can click that link. It'll take you right to my Instagram page. You get all my plays for Major League Baseball for today. All right, so let's dive into this. And this is a common mistake I see. Don't get burned by NFL line movement. Very common mistake we see people play. So let's look at, this is from 2022. Philadelphia, Houston. Now, the basic of line movement is a lot of times what we're taught, and I teach this as well. You want to follow the line movement. So let's take a look. We have Houston here plus 9.5, Philadelphia at minus 9.5. This is the opening line. I am at bookmakersreview.com. They basically show the lines and odds of the offshore books, and we're going to use the closing line of Bookmaker. So this line here, Philadelphia, opens at minus 9.5. It moves all the way to minus 14. That is basically a 5-point line move in favor of Philadelphia. You go, wow, I'm going to play Philadelphia. Philadelphia wins, but they do not cover. And you ask yourself, what happened? All right, let's look at the next one here. San Francisco and the Chargers. This line opens at minus 3.5 for San Francisco. And you go, wow, look at that. That moved all the way up to minus 7.5. MG told me to follow the line movement. They win, but do not cover the minus 7.5. Why is this? This is what we call a public line move. Now, before I explain public line move, I want to talk about what the opposite of that is, sharp movement. Sharp movement is late and subtle. For example, let's see if a line is minus 2.5, and right before kickoff, maybe 30 minutes before kickoff, it moves to minus 3. That is what we call sharp movement. That means the sharps ended up playing it at minus 2.5. That ends up bumping the line to minus 3, and of course everybody piles on at the minus 3. But that is sharp movement. It's late and it's subtle. This is not subtle, right? This is a significant line move, and this is what I call a public line move, and I'll define that. Public line move is generally when the public overreacts to an injury. So a public line move means everybody knows why the line is moving, and more than likely, there was an injury here. Maybe a starting quarterback didn't play for the Chargers. No need to even look at it because I already know that was the case based on the line move. Sometimes it can be the #1 running back. Sometimes it might be a coaching change. Maybe they fired the coach midway during the season, and people overreact to that. So you never want to be on the side of a public line move, and here's why. Simply because majority of the time, what ends up happening is you're going to overvalue this side. That's what they've done. And they've given more value to the Chargers here. Same with the other example. Now, this is what you need to understand about NFL, and I'm going to speak more about the game itself. If a quarterback is injured in an NFL, these quarterback coaches these NFL coaches are smart. Let's say the quarterback for Chargers didn't play in this game. They're not going to get some guy up in this grandstand and have a contest and let a fan be the quarterback. The guy that's going to be a quarterback is going to be a very smart individual, a very capable individual, maybe not as good as a starter. And what happens is the NFL team, the NFL coach will a lot of times compensate for that, right? Okay, we don't have our starter, right? We have a backup with very little experience. The NFL coach will compensate. What will he do? He will generally try to run the ball more, right? Run a lot of screens, burn the clock. He wants to give himself and his team a chance to win. And a lot of times on defense, they will put a lot more pressure on the opposing team to try to create a turnover. What if they create two turnovers? that means that situation wins about 60% of the time in NFL. So just because a quarterback isn't playing for an opposing team doesn't mean you should automatically fade that, because what I'm showing you right here is more times than not, they don't cover, and you're better off going the opposite direction. Now, let's take a look at some other reason why this happens. And this is real important. What you're looking at, this is a chart of occurrences for margin of victory in NFL. As you know, 3 is the most common. That's a field goal. The second most common occurrence of margin of victory in NFL is a 7. And these are the top 9 margins occurrence in NFL. Meaning games are more likely to end in a 3-point win, 7-point win, 6, 10, 4, 14, 1, 2, 8, 5. So these are the top 9. Now, the way I like to explain and teach things, I like to make it very simple rather than getting too much detail with math. So these are the top 9. So if we had a 9-sided dice that had these numbers on them, right? And we were to roll it, the 3, 7, 6, 4, 1, 2, 5, that combination would land on that combination more than it would land on the 10, 14, and the 8. Why? Because there's 6 numbers I just called out. The 3, 7, 6, 4, 1, 2, 5 is 6 numbers combination, and the 10, 14, and 8 is only a 3-number combination. So I'm basically combining all of the numbers that are 7 or less. Does that make sense? So now what we're going to do is we basically put these two together. In the NFL, it's difficult to beat a team by 2 scores, right? Now, it does happen. The actual average margin of victory, if you add all the NFL games together, I think last year it was actually down. I think it's like 12. That's because teams get blown out. But when you actually look at the occurrence, this is what we really want to focus on. So anytime you see so we have 2 things working for us. So you can almost play this as a standalone situation. When you have a public line move that goes beyond the 7, so we have 2 things working for us, right? Very difficult to beat a team by more than 1 touchdown. And also we're going against the public line move. So let's take a look at that other one. And generally, there's not a true computer slow. Apologize for that. There's not really a true way to define it, but generally, if it's more than, say, 1.5, and if you want to be safe, maybe like around 4 or 5 point line move, because what you're saying in a public line move, the reason this isn't sharp, another quick lesson, you're basically saying the sports books have set a line that's 5 points off. It's never going to be 5 points off. So we always know that something has happened here to create that line. So so to quickly review, if you look at the opening line and the closing line, and you're looking at like a 5-point differential, and you realize that, hey, this quarterback for the opposing team is out, and it's above 7 points, very, very difficult for that team to win, because number one, you're getting value on the opposite side of that public line move, and we're playing into a basic statistical property of NFL. Now, I want to talk about an edge, because a lot of times I'm going to use my baseball model to explain this. This does not happen 100% of the time, which means during NFL season, I've had this happen in the past. People will see this situation come up, maybe in another example of a video, and they'll send it to me and say, hey, look, I did what you said and it didn't work. In sports betting, an edge means you're going to win slightly more than you lose. And let me explain that by using my baseball model. As you know, if you follow me, we've had a really good year in baseball, 160 wins, 133 losses, up 40.25 units. Now, if we take 160 plus 133, we've wagered on 293 games, and we've won 160. So if we take 160 divided by 293, whoops, my bad. 160 divided by 293, and that gets us to 55%, right? Which is considered like expert in this business, right? Very difficult to do. However, this is a great way to explain edge. and I'm going to come back and tie this into the public line move. If you flip a coin, in baseball, you have two teams. So the true probability of either team winning is 50%. So technically speaking, we're only 5% better than flipping a coin. But 5% is all you need to be profitable in this business. As you can see here, 40.25 units year to date. So when I explain something like a public line move, this does not mean if you fade the public line move, you're going to win 70, 80% of the time. You're going to win slightly more than you lose. And a good way to explain this, and I love this quote, this will work a majority of the time if you apply it 100% of the time. And I'm going to say that again. This will work a majority of the time if you apply it 100% of the time. So you obviously going to take some losses, but it's an angle that if you apply it 100% of the time, should come out on top. All right, that's it. Greatly appreciate you watching this video. If you want access to these power rankings for MLB, you can get that $50 a month, and you get access to all my coaching videos. Also, if you want access to all my plays, that's $100 a month. The best value is if you join for a year, instead of paying $100 a month, you can pay $500 one time. You get access to everything on the site. We have 150 coaching videos on the site that teach you more in depth about how to handicap, how to build models, etc. Link to join in the description box. Greatly appreciate you watching this video. Like, subscribe to the channel. Talk to you guys soon.